everybody, I am Nazar from Chess Tips with Nazar. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to play chess, only chess. I'm going to be using the basic exercises and playing with them along so you can see like a visual explanation. If you would like to do them along with me, then pause the video right now. Go on lichess.org, which has no ads and is a non-profit organization. Then make an account and go into the menus, practice chess basics, the rook. So I'm gonna leave a few seconds for you to pause the video if you wanna do it. Okay, so we'll start now. So that is the rook complete. You've seen demonstrations and you've seen that the rook travels in straight lines. Next, the bishop. The bishop is the exact same thing as the rook, but all it does is moves diagonally. So let's eat all those pawns. So now you've seen a bishop. Next, the queen. The queen is easy. It's a simple math equation. Rook plus bishop equal queen. You only get one queen, unlike the bishops where you get two. Next, the king. The king is the most important piece, but the king is slow. It can only move to any square in one direction if it's not threatened or blocked by another piece. But hey, now you've learned how to master the most important piece of the game. There are some secret special moves that the king can do, but we'll talk about them later. Next, the knight. The knight moves in an L shape, like you see, it can move to any of the 8 squares. And it can also jump above pieces. Like what? Oh, found it. I just want to do 3 stars as much as possible. So the knight right now has one weakness. It can't attack pieces directly next to it, but it can jump over them. So just do this. It's a standard leeches grab all the stars exercise. Next, the pawn. This piece is a little complicated because it has a lot of special moves. There's this thing called promotion because pawns can only move forward. They can't go backward. If the pawn reaches the end, obviously it can't be stuck there. So you can turn it into any piece you want, but it can't be a king and it can't be another pawn because then promotion would be useless and you can't have two kings. So the best bet here is a queen or a bishop. So like you can see, I get a menu and I'll read it out. Pawn promotion. Your pawn reached the end of the board. It now promotes to a stronger piece. Select the piece you want. Well, to eat a pawn diagonally, I either need a queen or a bishop. So I'll just use the queen. This is like just turning into a queen exercise now. They made us do the pawn last because the pawn could turn into any piece. So yep. As Lichess rightfully said, pawns only move forward. Yep, use all the pawns. So a pawn in their starting position, which is the second rank, it's glowing right now. They can move 2 squares forward only on the first time they move. It is a common misconception that people are like they can only move forward 2 squares in the first move of the game, but no, they can move 2 squares on their first move. So you see, I just moved my pawn 2 squares and boom. Next capture. You have to eat the enemy pieces. Pieces eat how they move. And knights can jump over pieces, but the pieces will not be eaten. With that, and the only exception to this rule is the pawn, but we'll check that out later. Okay? So I have to eat the black pieces and not lose mine. Because if I eat the pawn, the rook will eat it. So first I have to take this, then this, then this, then this. This one's a hard one, but I know I have to eat the bishop first because it's the only undefended piece in this entire chain. But how do I do that? I have to stay away from all these pieces. Well, like this. Next, protection. If you're about to get eaten, you have to move the piece away. You don't have to unless it's the king, but it's best to move the piece away, protect it with another piece, or eat the piece that's protecting it, whichever gives you the best advantage. So now this bishop is attacking the square next to my rook. This bishop's attacking the one on my rook. So if I just move there and slide the rook there, it's fixed. So all you need to do here is just move away. There's no escape for the knight, because anywhere he moves the queen will eat, but I can protect like this. If I do this, the bishop and the pawn help each other. There's no escape, but I can protect by blocking the bishop, and my knight and my horse is protecting. So don't let them take any undefended piece. Okay? So they won't be able to take any undefended piece if I move the knight, because the knight was defended by a pawn. Don't let them take any undefended piece. The bishop would need to protect the knight and protect the pawn and escape. So this is a good move. So don't let them take any undefended piece. The threat's on the bishop now. So if we do this, it helps the rook. So I've taught you how to protect the pieces, now how to fight with them. So this I showed you, it was a mistake because it would be taken. So that's a fail. So first you move here, so there's no threat, then you eat it. This would be a mistake taking the bishop, because if you eat the rook, we do it like this, look. So what you have to do is this. What do I do? Oh, so I first defend this. That's actually a smart exercise. Then now that nothing's in attack, I can just start destroying with my knight a little. But then the pawn would take. But then I would just eat. That is just like so. Then he would take here. Okay. So if I move here, then start shuffling my knight. He would still take here. So if I move here, he would eat here. So I have to do this. Then this, then this. Now this is the easy part. Just have to get the knight. And yes! So now there's this thing called check. It's when you attack a king. You can't ignore the attack on a king. So if I check, he must move away, block, or eat the piece that's checking. So the best way to aim at the king would be like this. I guess the best check-in one is this, but then the pawn would just block, but it's still check-in one. A tricky part here is not getting any of your pieces eaten. There's two ways to check with the queen and the rook. I'll just pick rook. This is called a discovered attack. If you move a piece and the check is unveiled. Now, what if you are the one being checked? Well, there are 3 ways to defend against it. You have to memorize them. Eat the piece that's checking. Move your king away. Or block with another piece. So you can move away. Move away. The king can't escape because the rooks are blocking. But if I move here, it's blocked. Anyways, I'm in a huge disadvantage. I can't go out of check because of the horse and bishop. But this brings us to rule 3, which is you can eat the piece that's checking. You can't eat the horse because then it would unveil a check on your king from the queen, and you can't do that. But you can eat it with the horse. You can't eat the knight because then a check would be unveiled to you by the rook. You can't block the knight because the knight jumps over pieces. It's impossible to block a knight. So the only way to do it is to move away here. So I'm being checked. And if I move away anywhere, I'm still in check, so I have to block like this. Now, you've all been watching this video, and I bet you're like, okay, Nazar, you're teaching us the rules of chess, but how to win? Well, this is how you win a game of chess. What if you're in check, but you can't do any of the rules I told you last exercise? So you can't eat the piece. You can't block. And you can't move away. It's checkmate. If you do it to your opponent, you win the game. If your opponent does it to you, you lose the game. So, this is called a smothered mate. The king's attacked and he can't move anywhere. This is called, it depends if it's a ladder. It's like a ladder mate, yeah. Can't move anywhere if I move here. So, think you may need to move here and unveil a check. Can't do this, but I can eat the rook. But then he blocks. If I move here, he eats, but oh! Eating my bishop if I eat his will unveil a check. So it's a checkmate. If this is the way to go, then I'm correct, but it's not. Then he'd be able to move here, but then I can counter all of that if I move here, but then he'd block. So no, he would just move here. So I can't because he'd move here. So this is the checkmate. So how to set up the chessboard? Pause the video here and memorize this position. Okay, You've memorized it. Now, this is how you place the pieces. Rooks go in corners. Knights go next to the rooks. Bishops go next to the rooks. Then the queen goes on her own color. And the king goes right next to the queen on his opposite color. Pawns form the front line to keep the king from checks, but as a wise man rightfully said, pawns are the soul of the game. So one of the secret special moves of chess is called castling. You can move the king 2 squares, which is something not normally allowed, and put him in a safe spot. There's long castling, and castling doesn't work if a piece is blocking or the king is in check. So this is what I call the standard development opening. You castle on the 4th move, which, fun fact, is the fastest time you can ever castle. So this is what I like playing games. You can't castle if your rook has already moved or your king has already moved, but you can castle on the other side. You can't castle if a piece is checking your king in the way of castling. So block, then castle. So find a way to castle kingside. Doesn't matter if your rook's under attack. You can still castle. Find a way to castle queenside. But this blocks. But then if I move here, then I move here, then I move here, then I castle here. This move confuses everybody. It is torture, but it is important. If the black pawn has just moved, okay, it's too much explaining, but I'll still say it. If the black pawn has moved 2 squares and it's on the move and your pawn is next to it, you can eat it and you go forward and the pawn just vanishes. Oh, I think I remember this one. They're just gonna make every single one of our pawns en passant. Stalemate. Black cannot move. Its stalemate is basically checkmate without the check. So if I move my bishop here, see, it's all blocked. It's all blocked. You see? All blocked. All blocked. I think black is already in a stalemate. So like any random move, not so. Whoa! Stalemate means black cannot move. So the rook. Piece value. Each piece has a value. Again, you have to memorize it. I will give you 5 seconds to pause the video, to listen to my voice, pause the video, and memorize it. Okay? So I'm gonna start from most expensive to least expensive. The king has no value. It's worth the entire game. Queen, 9 points. Rook, 5 points. Bishop, 3 points. Knight, 3 points. Pawn, 1 point. If you have a chance to take, you always have to take the better piece. So which one would that be? 3, 2, 1. It's a queen. I was just calculating in my mind. But then I'm in check. So they said don't exchange. So I eat this. Okay? So pause here and memorize these. If you don't know this, then you can't play chess. You're dead. You won't know. You'll just make blunders. So, check in 2. So it's 2 moves this time to check. You get the point? There's check in 1, check in 2. Oh, wrong piece. So, before we end, let me explain to you a concept. We talked about checkmate. There are some things called checkmate sequences, which you learn to calculate later. I can calculate them sometimes. They're basically, I can see the chessboard, and I'm like, I can force the opponent's king to move there, and then I'll checkmate him and win the game. But that's all you need to do for now. Make the account you wanted to make before clicking on this video on Lichess, chess.com, ChessKid, etc. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. I'm right now on a mission to get to 50 subscribers. Bye. See you in another video.